Every revolution in human history begins with a single violent spark. It starts small, a chemical friction against a rough surface, before it finds the oxygen it needs to consume an empire. Mexico City, 1955. A city of rain, heavy shadows, and men waiting for the world to notice them. In a cramped, smoke-filled room, a conversation is happening that will rewrite the maps of the 20th century. Look into their eyes. One is a lawyer who has already bled for his cause. The other is a doctor searching for a purpose. As the tobacco smoke curls into the ghostly shape of a forbidden island, the shadows on the wall grow. They aren't just men anymore. They are the giants of a coming storm. But history is a clock that never stops ticking. For Fidel Castro, the quest had already begun at the Moncada barracks. It ended in a bloodbath and a cage of light, where he famously declared that history would eventually absolve him. He was a general without an army, waiting for a sign. Ernesto Guevara didn't start with a rifle. He started with a microscope. He was a healer. But as he looked through the lens, he saw a continent terminal with a different kind of disease. He saw land being crushed under the weight of a cold iron boot. On the back of his motorcycle, the mighty one, he saw the hidden America. He saw the copper mines of Chile, where men worked like ghosts for foreign gold. He saw children with hollow eyes and stomachs full of nothing but dusty hope. In Guatemala, he watched a democracy die in a sickly yellow sky. He realized then that a stethoscope could only treat the symptoms. To cure the system, he needed a blade. The doctor was fading. The soldier was emerging in the reflection of the steel. When he met the lawyer in Mexico, the alliance was forged in ink and red paint, a handshake, a blueprint, a leather jacket, and a rifle. The quest was no longer a dream, it was a plan. They trained like ghosts in the Mexican pines, preparing for a suicide mission. 82 men crammed onto the wooden deck of the Granma, a leisure yacht never meant for war. The ocean tried to swallow them. In the dark, nauseous hull, they fought the abyss. When a man fell into the ink-black waves, Fidel refused to leave him. They found him, but time, their most precious resource, was spinning wildly out of control. They hit the Cuban shore, not on a beach, but in a tomb of black mud and mangrove roots. At Alegria de Pio, the air exploded. In the chaos, bleeding and broken, Che reached into the dirt. He dropped his medical bag. He picked up the ammunition. In that mud, the healer died, and an icon was born against a blood-red sun. Of the 82, only 12 remained. They huddled in a cave, a tiny flame against a mountain of darkness. But when the lawyer and the doctor reunited, they didn't see defeat. They looked at the jagged peaks and saw a fortress. They became the ghosts of the Sierra, striking from the purple mist, vanishing before the tanks could turn. They built a voice, Radio Rebelde, and through the golden sound waves, the revolution found its way into every dark room in Havana. The jungle fought with them, swallowing the dictator's tanks in a wall of green. The people became their eyes, passing secrets in the shadows. Fidel's face hardened. The student was gone, replaced by the bearded face of the revolution. The descent began, a column of hundreds marching toward the sunset. On the map, the red line burned like a fuse toward Santa Clara, where an iron fortress on tracks, the armored train waited to end it all. With a bulldozer and a prayer, the fortress was derailed in a burst of painterly sparks. The dictator realized the dawn was no longer his. He fled into the night, leaving suitcases of gold on a dark, windy tarmac. Havana woke to a silent malecón. Then the carnival began. The tanks arrived, draped in black and red, moving through a storm of confetti. On the balcony, the lawyer and the doctor stood as masters of an island they had conquered with an idea. But victory is a cold room. The shadows between them grew long. One stayed to build a state, the other left to find another mountain. They became posters on a peeling wall, faces frozen in time. Liberators or tyrants, the scales of history never stop moving. The quest is a circle, a ticking watch, resting on a mural of the past. Join us next time as we open another door.